Right, starting off in the same spot as we did in the last clip. Still, at least we have a few fewer Metroids to deal with than we did before. That's vaguely encouraging. Though I'm a little disturbed that we didn't heal up completely once we got to the save point. Guess I misremembered how the save points work in this game. You'd think I'd have noticed something like that before we got to part 7. Definitely seems like the only way to handle those swarms is to turn on the lightning armor, regardless of my feelings about it. Ah well, we were starting to use it for the sake of getting past some of those dungeon plants anyway. I don't believe I ever said I'd never use the lightning armor, just that I'm not likely to use it as frequently as the game probably intends. When am I just gonna stop forgetting when some barriers are just plain impassable for me right now? Just how much time would that save for me in this game anyway? And once again, we have to jump through bursts of flamethrower as we work our way up. How the hell did I forget something this damn annoying? At the very least, you'd think I'd remember that section of ground can break underneath us or something. Still can't get past those walls. Okay, now that I've made it over here again, where do we go from here? Well, no point in saving again just yet, especially when we've made so little progress since last time we did. Guess we're going back up. At least it's more comforting going on an elevator than a teleporter, though maybe I'm just old-fashioned or something. Well, I distinctly remember choosing not to deal with those plants just yet, so I assume upwards is gonna actually get us some progress now. I suppose I should be creeped out that all those plants shook when we had the lightning armor on. Would have preferred to have gone in there with full health, but hey, I'll take what I can get. And we've got another Metroid trying to get away from us after we do plenty of damage in a hurry. Nice to know they're learning to fear us. Part of me can't help wondering if the Metroids have a hive mind. The other figures that if they did, the baby we find at the end of the game probably wouldn't be so friendly. And again, while I took damage I strictly didn't need to in order to keep shooting the bastard. He's the one who's dead while we're continuing on our hunt. Just one left to find, then we're flushing another acid toilet. Okay, for a moment there I thought we were stuck, then I realized those spikes aren't actually stopping us from getting to the ground near the door out of here. Kind of hoping we get a chance to heal before we find the next Metroid in the area, but if we don't, then I'm reasonably confident we can take the bastard out and live to tell the tale. Of course, that's assuming it's on the right side of this room like I'm expecting. It would be easily somewhere else entirely, I'm sure. Well, at least we didn't just roll our way into that enemy. And the other one slammed us back down. Wonderful. Still, I'm pretty sure those things are implying that there's more to be found up there. Or maybe I shouldn't consider enemies being in an area as evidence of anything, when this isn't my usual type of action game anyway. It's amazing how this game managed to make dealing with two enemies at once feel more dangerous than most of the other Metroid games we managed to do. Even the 3D ones. I've said it before and I'll say it again. How can something be so stupid it doesn't notice it's being shot in the ass until it dies? Especially if it's gonna make that cry of pain as it's getting hit. Right. Guess that's what I get for dropping down blind. Then it's not like we really had a choice in the matter. Well, those things dropping from the ceiling have barely been a barrier for us, even at the start of the game. I'm actually a little surprised we're running into those things, considering how annoying a lot of the other barriers we've been coming across have been. Well, at least we're back to full health before we run into the next Metroid. That's something. Though with my luck, by the time we find it, we'll be pretty wounded again. This feels like a reasonable point to save again, though I see more climbing in our immediate future. Right, so not going up that way. Annoying. Please tell me there isn't something we don't have the means to destroy, preventing us from reaching that nearby upgrade on the map. I've been getting downright sick of running into that kind of problem in this game. I know, that sort of thing is pretty common in Metroid games, but this one kind of made it feel a bit more obnoxious. Obnoxious, to the point where I'm tempted to put doing the other 2D Metroid games on hold to give myself a bit of a break from the series. I'm not saying it's a bad game. Far from it. just that I feel, for the most part, I'm approaching a point where my stamina for the series needs a bit of time to replenish. Well, this certainly feels familiar. It's clearly not bringing us any closer to the next Metroid, just letting us gain another forgettable missile upgrade. Again, good to know that the purple mist doesn't seem to do all that much to the lightning armor. Though I still wish the lightning armor felt like a genuine upgrade to the Chozo suit instead of an upgrade for what feels like a more fragile version of the suit we usually start a game with. Okay, so just grazing by the plants did a decent amount of damage to us. Am I the only one reminded of the pretty fragile Iron Man suit in Iron Man 3 that was made while our hero was a sleep-deprived, PTSD workaholic and built with an obscene number of issues? Because at least Tony had excuses for why the Mark 42 was essentially a death trap that he had to blow up near the end. Whereas I see no reason why Samus' base suit in this game feels like it's made of less durable stuff than every other base suit in the entire series. Not sure getting 2 missile upgrades was worth coming over here in the first place, but I suppose any kind of progress is progress all the same. And now I have no idea where to go next. Always a bit unpleasant. Not really much we can do about that other than to look at the map and try to find some corners that don't have lines on them, hoping that means we can go there and find something new. Still, I doubt we're gonna find anything on this side of the elevator anymore. In hindsight, I probably should have used the teleport point, though it's hard to feel all that much urgency when you don't have any specific location in mind at the moment. Yeah, definitely never a good sign when I'm just wandering around for the sake of wandering around and don't really have anywhere to go. And an even worse sign when I decide to tank through what I already know is a dangerous substance, when we have the means to nullify the damage. Seriously, despite not being in there for long, we certainly took an obscene amount of pain just from walking by there. And apparently I forgot about the spikes on the wall already. Hope that next Metroid has something to read. I have the distinct feeling this is gonna take a while. Well, we've certainly gotten to the point where the regular enemies stop feeling like any kind of threat, though that feels like it has more to do with my increased skill than the upgrades we've been getting. If anything, I think skill kind of means more in this game than the other two we went through. Or at least that's the impression I have overall. Maybe that's just due to the fact that this game has more emphasis on combat than the earlier games we've gone through so far in this series. Not that there wasn't some damn fun fights in Zero Mission and AM2R, just that the enhanced controls in this game make it easier for the game designers to make more satisfying battles for us. Again, that makes me a little nervous about the fact that we're going to be doing Super Metroid, what some people consider one of the greatest games of all time, after this game, which is the only one of the 2D games I'm willing to go through that doesn't do its damnedest to follow in the footsteps of Super Metroid. It's sort of odd feeling where I can't help wondering if I should have saved Samus Returns for last, despite it being at this point in the timeline. Well, looks like we haven't explored some areas just above yet. I suppose that's worth checking out. I suppose we could go back to the acid toilet to get the 7 bits of Metroid DNA to the machine, and hope I remember right that it would give us the specific location of the next one, just like that. But then, it's been so long since we came from there, I don't even remember where the acid toilet is from our current position right now. Well, I certainly assume this is a new path. Guess we're going through the missile door. Should I be worried that the door locked the instant we got in here? Well, hello there. Was wondering if you were gonna be a thing in both versions of this game. Well, his roll kinda seems faster than it did in AM2R, I suppose that's something. And apparently the basic wave beam is enough to hurt him. It's not like missiles are our only option. Well, I don't know if Samus is a sports fan, but I think there's a reason nobody ever invites her to Mario Baseball. Mario's a Dodgers fan, Samus is a Giants fan, and I'm sure things got a bit heated the last time the two met on the subject. I know, bit of a stretch for that joke, but what else was I gonna say? The fighting, the bouncing turtle in this game was so short and so easy to pull off that I'm just plain disappointed. I'm pretty sure the speed we took him down just speaks for itself here. In AM2R, this guy was a threat that could legitimately kill us, and took some adjusting. At the very least, he was tougher than any of the Metroids we'd run into that far into the game. Here, he has a glorified speed bump that happened to have an upgrade inside of it. I think I'm justified being a little annoyed by that, especially since overall the combat in this game is better than AM2R, so a boss fight like that should have felt more awesome in this game, not downright obligatory. Okay then. That doesn't really change the fact that we still have no idea where to go in order to find the next Metroid. Sure, this will help us against some barriers, but those spikes aren't among the barriers it's gonna help us get through. Right, guess taking down a boss is worth saving over, even if the boss felt so underwhelming. Seriously, even the weakest of the Metroids puts up more of a fight than that poor bastard did. once again, I'm just teleporting for the sake of trying to see if we can find something else. We're certainly using the teleporter a lot more than I expected we would. I just wish it wasn't for the sake of trying to find some new place to explore. I somehow get the feeling it's harder to really get a feel for where you have and haven't been when you're able to quickly zip from point to point like this. I know, that's supposed to be what the minimap's for, but it's not like the minimap always tells us when we're gonna run into particular barriers. Just how many times have we returned to the same areas and still not had the means to get to wherever is behind that barrier? Okay, don't think we've ever seen an enemy stumble due to a block reforming right in front of him. Another nice touch, though it makes me wonder why we still have blocks that reform like that when this game is trying a good deal harder than the others in the series to be about as realistic as a two-dimensional game can pull off. It's not even worth talking about each time I stupidly take damage I shouldn't have to, huh? Not when I take 4 hits in under a minute, in the exact same room. Oh, now this is just plain embarrassing. Right, next Metroid is close and we've got full health. Seems about as good a way to end things here as we can manage. Huh. Well, alright then. How are we supposed to move to the right? There we go. Hello there. We're here as part of the Metroid relocation program. There's a nice spot in Tartarus where a number of your buddies have already gone. I've been assured that there's plenty of room for all of your kind in there, and you'll never have to worry about people using you for experiments or hunting you down ever again. And good God, it is surprisingly harder not to empathize with the very deadly monsters when we've already seen that one of them, the baby that we'll run into at the end of the game, is not a threat to us in the least, and in fact will be helpful. Ah, well, that's another area cleared. Time to go back to the toilet. Right. Of course it would have been too convenient to let us just go to the right through one of these walls. Ah, well, at least we're close to a save point. Just need to kill some lesser monsters that we already killed not too long ago. And now I'm suddenly feeling guilty for the sheer amount of damage we're doing to the planet's ecosystem, despite how much that ecosystem keeps trying to kill us. Bit annoying, really.